Hey, I'm Les with Judson Vacuum Systems, and John LaBarber from Mytee Products has sent me a T-REX to give a true, honest opinion of my opinion of his new unit. He's undergone some changes, improvements on the unit, and I do appreciate John valuing my opinion on his unit, and I will give an honest opinion on this unit. There's some good features about it, and why John values my opinion, if people don't know who I am in the industry, I'd like to just give you a little brief history of Judson through the years, how long we've been in the industry, and other industries we're in other than just carpet cleaning. Just to give you a brief description, we have been in the industry since 1959, and these are some patents that my dad had. This is a portable patent. It's a fully automatic portable. This is a drag wand. We actually have one of the drag wands. That's a patent for the drag wand. These are the regular wands, just like we use them today. These are some of the two original wands, and that's the patent for the wand. And my dad invented these things back in the early 70s. This is the blower right here. It's on the world's first truck mount he made to clean football fields in 1967, and he has that patented too. So my dad invented the truck mount, so that's the history of us in the carpeting industry. There's some other industries that we're in that you may not be aware of. I'll explain that to you. We kind of branched out from just carpet cleaning probably about 25 years ago, and we do centralized vacuum systems. This is a typical layout of a Postal. We're a federal contractor with the U.S. Postal Service, and this is a processing and distribution center in Columbia. And these are the mail processing machines here. These are the vacuum locations. These are inlet valves, and they no longer have to use air hose. Remember when they had the anthrax attack in the Postal Service, what happened is the anthrax shook out of a letter. A guy walked up with an air hose and blew, and that's when the anthrax went in the air. So we put in a vacuum system to eliminate the air hose, and we also made an anthrax decontamination system for the U.S. Postal Service, which is what this is. And this is an inline separator for the U.S. Postal Service that has quaternary ammonia in it. Everything you vacuum gets drenched with quaternary ammonia, and this decontaminates all the material you're vacuuming in case it does have anthrax in it. So this is some other stuff we've done, other industries we've been in. So I'd like to show you some pictures here of, like I say, we're in other industries other than just carpet cleaning, so I kind of feel like we got a little more knowledge maybe on airflow than most anybody, because we got all these centralized vacuum systems. The textile industry, we've been doing that for many years to eliminate the air hose, and brooms to maintain what they call fly and weave rooms when they're weaving cloth. Come right around here, Jack. And this is a typical installation. This is what the vacuum looks like right there. This particular vacuum we made for the aviation industry. It has a twin-cylinder gas engine in it, and that's a liquid separator there. But let me go back to the electric. The vacuum is a 575 volt three-phase vacuum, so we got some pretty good knowledge in electric too, which is some good stuff I want to talk about. John's Rotary is electricity and safety in general. So we manufacture a 575 volt three-phase vacuum system as is. As you can see, this is the Postal Service, and we got the pipe system here, little service cart with a vacuum hose and tools. This is the guy hooking it up. There he is vacuuming mail processing machine right there. This is a typical installation. You can't see the pipe, but the pipe's going down that wall. And we just eliminated the air hose and brooms, and in case there's another anthrax attack. Now back to the airline industry. This is the vacuum. It's gasoline powered. Now these vacuums have positive displacement blowers, which has come off of the carpet cleaning industry like we use on carpet cleaners. But it made a an extremely powerful dry vacuum. We were the first people to ever make a dry vacuum with a positive displacement vacuum, so most vacuums, dry vacuums, were centrifugal. But here's the service where they come in and service aircraft, vacuum it out and resupply it. It's in a little trailer there. So we got a lot of experience in airflow and non-resistance. Now, when designing a vacuum system, it's very important to not have as much resistance as possible. And you can look on YouTube and you'll see I have a video called truck mount CFM test, I believe, and you can see that we actually have zero resistance in our truck mounts. And that's why when you buy a truck mount from me that has a 45 blower, it performs like a truck mount with a larger blower because we have no resistance. So that's another thing I like about the T-REX. So I'm going to talk about airflow, safety of electric, some good features that I see on John's machine that is very well built, heavy duty, reliable. So we'll just take a look right here. Let's get started with John's rotary. Let me grab this flashlight now. Now we were talking about airflow. So when you're designing a vacuum system, you want to have the least amount of resistance till you get to your source. In other words, until the wand's on the carpet, we don't want to have much resistance until there. So that's just one of the things I'm seeing here on John's machine that I do like. First of all, this is a solid aluminum cast head. Now, as you can see, it's fairly heavy. I mean, it's a heavy piece here. Okay. Now, John's head is fixed, so there's no they don't float, so they don't really contour to any imperfections in the carpet. But the main thing about a floating head is chatter. So John has dealt with chatter by having a variable speed head. So like if you get on a glue down carpet, if you have a fixed head, sometimes the head will chatter as you slow it down. But as far as reliability, I don't really see how this is going to actually break. Where like on the RX-20 you got floating heads and you got little individual vacuum tubes coming to each head. So I think it's a very well built piece. There's his spray jets. Now originally John had some issues. He had an issue with his jets spraying a little too wide. He's corrected that issue. He has new jets. As you can see, the jets are spraying right before the slots here. So I mean, it cleans fine. I'm not even going to run the machine as far as cleaning. I mean, it's just like there's a jet and there's the vacuum. We know it's going to clean just fine. This all can be run high pressure. In other words, if you have a deep nap carpet, like a shag carpet or a very deep nap carpet, it's nice to have the capabilities of pressurizing these jets so it'll penetrate to the bottom of the bottom of the fiber. So that's one good thing about what I'm seeing here, is that you can pressurize this whole jet manifold. I mean, he's got a high pressure swivel, so, and then I'm going to show you how the pressure seals to the ear, which is really nice. But let's talk about airflow and resistance, okay? So let's turn this back over, and you can see there's the slots to vacuum across the on the carpet. It's very well built, solid. It's very heavy, very heavy. Now, what I want to talk about is here's a seal here that seals the vacuum. So you got no resistance here. That's a 5-inch, I don't know, 4-inch. So that's we got a 2.5-inch line coming down to a 4-inch. So there's no resistance there. As long as we're going bigger, there's no resistance. I want to show you these manifolds right here. Now these are a vacuum manifold that pulls the vacuum across the top of the slot. Now I'm going to turn this light on, and we're going to look right down in there, and you can see that the top of that slot is in the middle of a big open cavity. Can you see that? So I can just tell you right now by looking at that, there's no resistance as far as getting the air to the top of the slots. Now the slots are bigger at the top than they are at the bottom, so it's tapered. In other words, you can see it's looks like it's about 5/16 or a ½ inch there, and it looks like the actual slots looks like it's about 1/8 of an inch, so it's tapered in. So from this point to that point, it's opening up. It's going into a large vacuum chamber here that accumulates into this 3-inch, so there's no resistance there. Now let me lay this back. Now let's talk about the upper vacuum manifold. The upper vacuum manifold. The seal's here. You keep this lubricated, and that's what it swivels on. The upper manifold takes this 2.5-inch pipe here, and it goes into this manifold, so it's all opened up into this big vacuum manifold chamber here. So I see no resistance from here. It's staying 2.5 all the way, so I don't see any resistance till it gets actually onto the carpet, which is really nice. I like that. Now I want to talk about the pressure. When the pressure, John is using a very nice high pressure swivel right here. I don't know if that's 1,000, 2,000 pounds, but it's a very well made piece. You know, it's a high pressure swivel. And again, you can pressurize the jets with this thing all the way. You know, you can put 500, 600, 700, 800 pounds if you had a real deep nap carpet. The pressure comes down through the center of this shaft, and it's sealed with this O-ring right here, and that actually goes down inside here, and that O-ring seals to that tapered part right down inside here, which is cool. This, once that's bolted to this, that's a very good positive seal with that O-ring. This, once it just slides in there, it doesn't swivel. This just stays locked once you turn this head onto here. So that part of the system I like a lot. Looks like you put a lot of thought in that. Very well made. I don't see anything. You know, it's all cast, it's sealed good. I mean, I really like it. Another thing I want to talk about is John has decided to go with a DC motor. Now, DC motor is also, remember I was talking about safety now, because we've got a lot of experience with 575 volt systems, and we're very familiar with electricity. And he has a DC motor that's totally enclosed. You see, this is a totally enclosed motor. Has a cooling fan that blows the air out the outside. Now, having high pressure water near the motor, or anywhere near, I mean, if you at 500 pounds, if it just had a small leak, it would put out a good bit of water. So I really like the fact that that's a totally enclosed motor, and it's DC. DC is safer than AC, so that's another good factor. Now, if you want to know the difference between a totally open motor, which like you would use on a fan, you know, where you're not going to have water around it. If you see little vents cut right here at the bottom of the motor, that means it's open at the top and it has an internal cooling fan, which if it got wet, it would be extremely dangerous. So I don't really know of anybody that would use an open motor on a cleaning head that would have water around it, but just keep an eye out. You know, you just don't want to have an open motor around water, because you know, I said, well, safety wise, it's 110 volt. It's not that dangerous. I did some research. I actually just Googled danger of 110 volt, and you can do it yourself, but you know that 90% of all deaths in America with electricity is 110 volt, which I wasn't aware of. And it also only takes 50 milliamps to cause your heart to fibrillate. So I like the safety part. Another thing, John's handle's non-conductive. That's a carbon fiber handle. So it's non-conductivity. If it got wet, normally a motor, you say, well, it would just short out and kick the breaker, but with water, it'll draw current. It just transfers the current down the water and possibly into the wet carpet. So it may not just short it out and kick the breaker. It'll just, the water is conductive, and it could flow the electricity into the carpet if it actually got wet. So we're going to do in a little while, I'm going to do a video on this, showing how safe it is as far as getting wet water on there. That's really important. John has got, like I say, when he first came out with it, there were some issues. He had a torque issue with the motor. It was just a setting in a computer chip here. It has an extremely amount of torque. There's no way it's not got enough torque now, but originally, because his computer chips, control chips for the DC motor, had been sent to him from the factory with 50% torque, and kind of bogged down. But it don't bog down now. You just John has a report on how to modify it. If you got one of these, just get with John at Mytee and get your instructions on how to increase your torque. So he's corrected his jet issue, you know, where they were spreading too wide. He's got the speed issue taken care of, and a lot of people are saying they're getting really good drying time with these systems. I see why, because there's no resistance whatsoever. It's very well made. Again, if you don't have a floating head, it can chatter on a commercial glue down carpet, and that's why he has his speed control right here, which is right there at your thumb. And then to start the head, you have to pull this safety forward, and then you can pull it up. So these kind of stick up to protect anything hitting down. They stick up a little bit, but you have to actually push this forward, pull the lever up to start the motor rotating. And this is nice, the way he has the adjustment on the handle. If you'll see, there's an aluminum cog right there. And then he has this lever here that allows it to adjust the handle height. And it's very well made with that aluminum teeth there. It catches it so you can adjust it. There's a nice cable, spring-loaded cable going down this tube here, this non-conductive tube here. So I like that. And you know, my personal opinion about this, you know, it's like the RX-20. I know it's pretty. I've always liked the RX-20. I mean, I always liked it. I mean, I thought that was one of the most innovative things I've ever seen come to the industry. And you know, you can change the head and do brushes. I don't know if John in the future is going to have that, but right now this is strictly for carpet cleaning, and he's worked all the bugs out of it. And it looks like to me he's put a lot into this thing, you know. And the price of this is what I think makes it so attractive. Is the retail price of this is $24.95, and if all you're interested in is carpet cleaning, I think it would be a very reliable system, because there's nothing there to break. There's no floating heads or swiveling like the RX-20. I'm more than sure that this is very well heavy duty. It's not going to give you any problems as far as braking, as far as maintenance, you know. If it chatters, slow it down a little bit. Let's see what else we can say about it. He has a vacuum brake here. I'm not sure. Maybe if you had it hooked to a unit with a big giant blower, you might want to slow it down a little, but you probably wouldn't really use that. He's got everything's high pressure, you know, and the swivel's high pressure there. It's all the casting head. This is all one-piece cast plastic. This is nice. This is two nice cast holes to axles for the wheels. That's cast. So I think it's well built, made really nice. It's a totally enclosed motor, so it can get wet. Matter of fact, it can get completely wet, and it wouldn't cause a problem, because it's totally enclosed and it's not an open motor. Like I say, you really wouldn't want to use an open motor on nothing like this around water, because it's just open. The internal parts of the motor's open, so totally enclosed, DC safe. So I just wanted to give a little in-depth my opinion on it. Like I say, he had issues to start with, but looks like to me he's got all the issues worked out of it. You might want to take a good look at this. Now John has sent this to me to give my honest opinion on it, and that's what I'm doing. Also, John has asked me to be a part of selling his units, you know, because we manufacture truck mounts, and so yeah, we're very interested in representing Mytee and being a part of Mytee. So I do appreciate him doing that. So what I would like to do, if anyone would really like to check out this, now that the bugs have been worked out of it, is I'm going to make a offer. And what I'm going to do here is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with my chemicals, but we've had the O2 system out for 6 years now, and it's a very successful system. It allows you to clean all fibers with these 3 bottles right there. With those 3 bottles right there, you can clean everything from wool to restaurants or anything you want to clean, and it's been done, and a lot of people's done it, so it's got a good track record. We have a deodorizer that has 10% quaternary ammonia in it. This is very concentrated. That 1 quart, you'd have to probably buy 4 gallons of whatever you're using now to match just what's in that quart. The new product we have out is called Slop and Gobble. This has no VOCs, no butyl, no doliamine. It has these really advanced surfactants in it, and it allows us to use it at a 1/2 ounce to a gallon. And I would say this is the lowest cost pre-spray that's ever been made. It costs 17 cents a gallon for every gallon that you spray down. And this has been out about a year. It's called Slop and Gobble. It's a fairly high pH. You don't want to use it on wool. Then we have our Quat-A-Lot, and that's a Quat product. Like, you know, if you were buying not Microban, but the Milgo and Shockwave. It's a 25% quaternary ammonia. It's very powerful. Most Quats are sold at 0.5%, maybe 1%. So what I'm going to offer here is a $500 chemical deal with the unit. So the unit's $24.95. I'm going to give you $500 worth of chemical, and you get to check out everything I manufacture. So that's a $500 value there. This is the little plate that holds the unit. Now this is what you use to take the head off, you know. And this is what you store the unit in, so that's what that is. But back to the deal. Okay, $500 worth of chemical. But to sweeten the deal even more, I don't know if you knew last year that we gave away a truck mount. You know, this is the truck mount here. It was a nitro. The guy is on his way to get it. He hadn't got his van yet. But yeah, for every $50 worth of chemical that you bought with Judson Products, you got a raffle ticket. And this was given away to a guy that only had a portable, so it was a great deal. He always wanted a truck mount, and his number came up, and he is a portable guy. So I'm really glad that's who actually won it. But this year, we're giving away a TNT. Now, what we're going to do here is, for every $50 that you buy of Judson Chemical, you get a raffle ticket, just like we did last year. So what I'm going to do with John's deal is we're giving away a TNT. This is a complete system with hoses, wand, installed, no hidden cost. You will be responsible for the taxes. But what we're going to do with John's deal is we're going to do the $500 chemicals, and I'm going to give you 10 raffle tickets for the truck mount. So that is a deal. So $24.95, $500 worth of chemicals, and a 10 raffle tickets with this unit. And I think it's a good opportunity for someone to check out the Mytee system and take advantage of a good deal. So anyway, that's my opinion of it. I think it's a nice unit. I think he had issues with it. He's got the issues dealt with. There's some features I really like about it. I think it's a durable unit. Now again, anytime you're lightening stuff, you use composites just like everybody else does. So there's a lot of plastic being used just like all the other manufacturers use. So I mean, I don't think you could throw this down the steps and it might break, but as far as what I'm seeing here, this is all cast aluminum. This totally sealed motor, DC safety, variable speed, and he's got the bugs worked out. You know, there's no doubt about it, there's some issues with it, but that's what I want to present for you. John, like I said, I do appreciate John valuing my opinion on this unit, and if there's anybody else has other products they would like for me to evaluate, I'll be glad to look at those too. But that's my opinion on the T-REX. I think for the money, if you look at the price and give a good close look at the what was actually put into this unit effort-wise, I'm very impressed with it. You know, so I don't want to make the video too long. So that's your deal: $24.95, $500 worth of chemical, and 10 raffle tickets for the TNT truck mount giveaway. I'll see you later.